Hello buddy and welcome to part 2 of Himoto Midoriya had a twin sister. If you've missed the last part, go check it out. Link in the description below. You guys really smashed that like button in the previous episode. I mean, after 3 days it had over 300 likes, which is insane. Just insane. And at this point it has almost 500. I mean, wow. So if you guys want the next part, let's go for 200 likes. And I'll try to make it as soon as possible. As soon as I'm back from the break, I think I'm going to make this one the priority. So hit that like button, guys. I made a bunch of polls asking you guys what you wanted for this one. And I want to thank all of you for all your support. And I specifically want to thank Balo Sparks, the story man, for his suggestions and ideas. If you have any suggestions, ideas, or criticisms of your own, you can leave them in the comments below or in my Discord server. Link to that will be in the description. With that said, let's get started. In the previous episode, Izuku got one for all and started training with All Might. His sister Himoto found out about this. Midoriya then told her about one for all and everything else. She decided to assist him in his training. They took on the UA entrance exam and both managed to pass, with much more conventional methods than the main continuity. After the entrance exam, a month passes and the first day of UA arrives. Both Izuku and Himoto are getting ready for their first day of school. Inko walks to them and with tears in her eyes she asks, "I'm so proud of you both. I mean, UA. Izuku, are you sure you packed everything? I mean, you didn't just pack action figures, right?" Izuku says, "Yeah, I have everything." Himoto just laughs her ass off at that comment. Inko hugs the both and says, "I'm so proud of you both." She then turns to Himoto and says, "Keep your brother safe, okay?" Himoto nods and both of them go to UA. They arrived at UA and start looking for their classroom. Himoto says, "So we're in class 1A, huh? We're both there. What are the chances of that?" Izuku says, 25%. 50% chance that you're in one class, 50% chance that I'm in one class, so you do the math, and it's simple probability, 25%. Himoto hits him on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, well, you have problem overthinking things. I overact. I say things without thinking. We're the opposite." Izuku laughs and they reach the door. They reach the class 1A door room. Himoto asks, "Why is it so big?" Midoriya says, "Probably for certain students. Who knows how big someone can be." Izuku starts contemplating who could be in his class. While he does this, Himoto just opens the door. The first thing they hear upon opening the door is Ida saying, "Take your feet off that desk now. It's the first day of school and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin." Bakugo retorts, "You're kidding me, right? Did your old school put up a stick up your ass or were you born with it?" Ida says, "Let's start over. I'm Tenya Ida from the Soulmate Private Academy." Himoto jumps in saying, "First day and you're already causing trouble, huh, Bakugo? I mean, when can you stay out of it?" Himoto and Bakugo then start to argue, leaving Ida kind of out of the loop. Ida looks at her wondering who she is. He then spots Izuku behind her and walks towards him as he enters the class. Ida says, "My name is Tenya Ida from the..." Midoriya nervously stops him and while looking away says, I heard. My name is Izuku Midoriya from Aldera Junior High, and that's my sister Himoto. It's really nice to meet you." In the background, a kid with messy gray hair looks at the scene that Himoto and Bakugo are causing. Quick note, this is an original character suggested to me by Balo Sparks, the story man. In this continuity, he's replacing Toru Hagakure while Himoto replaces Minoru Mineta. These were chosen by you guys in my Discord server. So, yeah. Ida says, "I must admit, Izuku Midoriya, as a hero course student, you are leagues ahead of me." Izuku asks, "What are you talking about?" Ida says, "You saw an aspect of the test that not even I had seen, when you chose to say that girl." Izuku is about to retort the comment when Uraka comes up behind him and says, "I recognize that messed up hair. It's my savior from the entrance exam. Glad to see you passed. Thanks for saving me from that robot, by the way." Midoriya says, "No problem." Uraka says, "My name is Ochaku Uraka, and you are?" Midoriya says, "Izuku Midoriya, nice to meet you." Uraka says, "Likewise." "What do you think we're going to be doing today, besides orientation, I mean?" Behind her, a man appears in a sleeping bag. He says, "If you're just here to make friends, you might as well pack up your stuff now and leave. Welcome to UA's hero course." Everyone quiets down except for Himoto and Bakugo, who keep arguing. Aizawa shoots a stare at Bakugo, getting him to shut up. This causes Himoto to look in the direction to see Aizawa, shutting up herself. Aizawa gets up from the floor and continues speaking, saying, "Took 15 seconds before you all shut up. That's not going to work at all. Time is too precious to spend arguing. Rational students would understand that." Everyone stares at Aizawa, wondering who he is. He sighs and says, "Right, let's get to it." He grabs a sports uniform from his sleeping bag and says, "Put these on and meet me outside." Outside, Aizawa tells the students that they will be doing a quirk assessment test. Uraka and Himoto object, getting the foreign exchange student to object as well. In response, Aizawa says, "If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Here at UA, we are not tethered to tradition. That means I get to run my class however I see fit." Aizawa then explains exactly what the quirk assessment test is and how it's going to go. He turns to Bakugo and says, "Bakugo, you managed to get the most points in the entrance exam. What was your farthest softball throw in middle school?" Bakugo answers, 67 meters, I think." Aizawa tells Bakugo to use his quirk this time, handing him a softball. He throws the ball and, backed up by a huge explosion, it reaches 705.2 meters. Kaminari says, 705.2 meters? Are you kidding me? Mina says, "I want to go, that looks like fun." Zero adds, "Nice, we get to use our quirks as much as we want." Aizawa asks, "So this looks like fun, huh? Let's make this more interesting then. The one with the worst score will be expelled effective immediately." The whole class gets scared at this statement. Uraka says, "But that's not fair. Even if it wasn't the first day, you can't just expel us. We worked hard to get here." Aizawa responds to her comment by pointing out that the world isn't fair and that he wants the students to prove themselves. Now for the actual test. In the 50-meter dash, Izuku charges full cow. Using the ability, he runs across the 50 meters in 4.98 seconds, staying neck and neck with Bakugo for most of the race, angering him. After the race is over, Bakugo goes to attack Izuku, but Himoto gets in the way, stopping him. Himoto herself does decent enough in this test. She can't think of any way to make herself faster, so she runs as much as she can. She crosses it in 6.58 seconds. Next is the grip strength test. Here, Midoriya does better than in the regular canon, thanks to One for All. He managed to lift 169.65 kilograms. Here, Himoto does pretty well as well, getting a punctuation of 72 kilograms. After that, it's the sandbox. Using One for All, Midoriya manages to jump across it with little issue. Up next is his sister. She thinks for a moment on what she can do. She runs, spins around, jumping backwards, and breathes fire against the ground, propelling herself forward. She lands head first on the ground and the other end of the sandpit, getting a score of 6.54 meters. The way to use the quirk does impress Aizawa, however. In the softball throw, Midoriya manages to get a distance of 234.1 meters. It's less than the regular cannon because, well, he's full cowling. Himoto throws the ball, breathes fire, pushing the ball forward with the energy. It reaches 127.3 meters. The exchange student is then up next. When tasked with this exercise, he makes a bit of water surrounding the ball with it. He throws the ball and it just keeps going. Midoriya notes he's moving it with his quirk. The ball reaches 1.2 kilometers before he loses concentration and the water falls to the ground. Name, Louise Walker. Quirk, Water Master. He can create water manipulated with at will. But when he makes too much, he gets dehydrated. He can also control other bodies of water, but it takes a lot of concentration and is a lot less effective. The students keep taking the tests. The ones left are the distance run, sit-ups, seated toe touch, and the side jumps. After all that, the scores are shown. The important thing in this one is that Izuku ended 6th, Himoto 9th, and Luis 10th. The rest are kind of pushed a bit more. The one that ended last in this version is Kyoka Jiro, since Hagakure and Mineta are the ones who have the second worst scores, and third worst scores Kyoka is the one after, and since Midoriya is gone, she's last. After showing the results, Aizawa says, and as for who is going home, Kyoka Jiro. It's my belief that your quirk isn't really suited to these exercises. You can still prove yourself in many environments. You will not be expelled. For now. Yorozu says, so he was serious. The rest of the class just sighs in relief. Aizawa says, pick up a syllabus before you go home. See you all tomorrow. The students then all go home. Ida and Himoto and Izuku go to the station together. Ida still praises Izuku, with Himoto poking fun of Izuku a little. Because of it, Izuku does manage to explain that he just acted on instinct. Uraka then says, hey Midoriya, wait up! We're going to the station, right? I'll join you! Uraka introduces herself to the rest of them and they set off. The next day comes rather quickly. It passes quickly too as the students go through their regular class routine. When they come back from lunch, Himoto asks, what class do we have now? Izuku looks at the class schedule, but before he can answer, All Might jumps into the class saying, I am here, coming through the door like a hero. Himoto says, never mind, we have hero training. Everyone in class is surprised to see All Might, except for, well, Izuku and Himoto. The class is surprised to see him. Kaminari says, holy crap, it's All Might! Kirishima then says, so he really is a teacher this year. It's going to be awesome. And Tsuyu says, look, he's wearing his Silver Age costume. And they continue to mutter in the background. All Might gets on the podium and says, welcome to the most important class at UA High. Think of it as Heroing 101. Here you will learn the basics of being a pro and what it means to fight in the name of good. Let's get into it. Today's lesson will pull no punches! As he holds a sign that says battle. Bakugo gets really excited and with a huge grin on his face says, fight training. Midoriya thinks, okay, I've been preparing for it. Himoto says, cool. All Might then says, but one of the keys of being a hero is looking good. The wall opens up with some shelves holding the cases with the hero suits coming out. All Might continues speaking. These were designed for you based on your quirk registration forms and the requests you sent in before school started. Get yourself suited up and then meet me at Training Ground Beta. A bit later at Training Ground Beta, All Might waits in front of the gate as the students start coming through it wearing their hero costumes. Izuku is just wearing his alpha costume. Himoto is wearing a fire-resistant one-piece suit with an extra jacket added on top. The suit and the jacket are both impervious to fire, but have spots where she can create fire and maintain it, including the hands and other areas. She has a green fire color scheme in the suit itself, with the jacket just being a small black jacket. She also has a utility belt that holds medicine and other stuff in her pouches, like incendiary, like little bombs that she can turn on with her fire. Oh, and she has an infinity mask on her face, fit with adaptive shades, as sometimes when she uses her fire, the light can overwhelm her. As for the other new guy, Luis is wearing a thermal suit, the type that surfers wear to keep themselves warm in the water. This one is made to regular temperatures in outside water. It has some designs on it, showing water flowing through the suit. It also has some hydration functions. It's basically different shades of blue on a black suit. It has a belt that holds a couple of water bottles for when he gets dehydrated as well. They all come out of the gate wearing their costumes. Himoto says, nice suit, Izuku. Izuku answers, thanks, Mom made it as a gift. She used some of my old notes. I like yours too, Himoto. Himoto says, thanks, I sent the forms and they came up with this pretty cool design. Bakugo says, ha, you stupid mama's boy, at Izuku. Uraka walks up to them and says, nice costume, Izuku. Izuku says, "Thanks, I like yours too." All Might says, "Listen up, everyone." He then proceeds to explain the exercise. Lots are drawn and teams are set. Bakugo and Himoto are put in the same group, infuriating both of them. Izuku is teamed up with a new foreign exchange student, Luis. Let's say, for simplicity, the rest teams are the same, and Uraka and Ida are put together. Uraka says, "Wow, Ida, we're a team. What are the chances?" The first group to fight is Izuku and Luis as the heroes against Bakugo and Himoto as the villains. The match starts with both villains being led into the base in order to plan better. For the beginning of the planning time, they spend arguing with one another, at least Himoto and Bakugo. Himoto takes a deep breath and says, "You know, we need a plan for this. I usually protect my brother from you, but in this case, it's our objective to beat him. So let's discuss something." Outside, Izuku talks to Luis. He asks, "What's your name?" Luis responds, "Luis Walker. Call me Luis, please." Izuku says, "I'm Izuku Midoriya. You can call me Izuku." Luis says, "Pleasure." Izuku says, "We should probably discuss a plan." He then starts mumbling, saying a lot of different things and kind of making the plan. Luis says, "Going too fast." Izuku says, "Oh right, you're an exchange student. You don't speak much Japanese, right?" Luis nods. Izuku asks, "Do you understand it?" Luis says, "Speak slowly." They come up with a simple plan. The exercise begins and they set off. Midoriya forces the door open, breaking the handle using one for all, and then they walk in. They walk through the building until Bakugo jumps from behind them, coming in for an attack. Luis notices him first and shouts, "Izuku, Achtung!" He pulls Izuku out of the way and shoots a water spout at Bakugo, disabling his vision for a moment, hitting him in the eye, causing him to lose balance and fall. Himoto then jumps out of the other corner, shooting a fire at her brother, trying to disable him quickly. But again, Luis jumps in the way, using his quirk to block the attack, creating some steam. With overwhelming speed since he's using one for all, Izuku grabs Bakugo and throws him into the ground. He grabs out the capture tape and tries to disable him, but Bakugo uses an explosion to get out. Luis shoots water at Himoto's face, disabling her vision, and goes in for a kick, then a punch. He then throws her on the ground. He then sees Midoriya fighting Bakugo, evading the attacks while his suit gets torn a bit. Luis makes a small water knife and shoots it at Bakugo. He then goes in for an attack. Himoto gets up, scratching her head since she hit it against the wall. Luis shouts, "Izuku, such die Waffe, wir verlieren Zeit." Izuku asks, "What?" Luis says, "Weapon, go." Izuku says, "But I can't let you fight them alone." Luis says, "Time, go." Izuku nods and sets off with a weapon. Luis keeps sparring with Bakugo a bit, evading the blows and countering with his own, using the water he had previously made to his advantage. Himoto then gets up, going after her brother, but before she can, Luis pushes Bakugo out of the way and shoots a bunch of small water daggers at her, making her fall on the ground. He keeps running, blocking the path. Bakugo and Himoto look at each other, then at Luis, and they charge in. In the meantime, Izuku, with a torn suit, runs around the building, searching for the weapon. He's running while using full cal. He gets close to the weapon room when he hears an explosion behind him. Izuku accelerates, going as fast as he can, with Bakugo catching up quickly. Izuku asks, "What did you do to Luis?" Bakugo says, 2 against 1. He put up a fight, but we ended up winning. Bakugo catches up to Izuku and tries to grab him. Izuku jumps onto the ground, grabbing Bakugo and pins him. He uses the capture tape, taking Bakugo out of the match. In the monitoring room, All Might thinks, "Good job, young Midoriya, you're doing great." Himoto struggles to catch up. Before she can, Izuku reaches the finish line, winning the exercise for his team by touching the weapon. All Might proclaims the hero team wins! Izuku goes to help Bakugo up, but he doesn't accept his help. Himoto then catches up and says, "Good job, Izuku. I was hoping to win, but you did great." Izuku asks, "What happened to Luis?" Himoto says, "He did pretty good, managed to keep us busy for a good minute and a half. But with all the heat from my fire and Bakugo's explosions, he ended up using all his water and dehydrating himself. He couldn't use his quirk anymore. At least not without danger to himself, apparently. Izuku asks, is he okay? Himoto says, yeah, he's fine, he's drinking water right now. The students then go back to the monitoring room, so the next match can start. Anyway, that's where I'm leaving it off for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button. If you do 180 likes, I'll upload the next part again, when I come back from my break. Now, a quick thing about Luis before we end. He's an exchange student that was suggested to me by Paolo Sparks, the story man. Although after a bit of research, I decided to take a few liberties since he didn't tell me from where he was from. I decided to make him an exchange student from Germany. He likes kids, listening to music, and working hard. He dislikes bullies, perverts, and feeling useless. I did research on the name and found out that it apparently originates from some Germanic country, so I decided to do that. He doesn't speak much Japanese, but he tries his best, and since I know a bit of German, I can at least bring realism to that part. If you want some info on Himoto, let me know, and I'll do it in the next part, like I did with Mr. Luis. Hit that like button again, 200 likes, and I'll make the next part. I think you guys can hit it. You can also subscribe if you are new, and check out my Discord. Link to that in the description. You can also leave a comment if you want. I'm not forcing you to do anything. Until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!